Welcome to Economics Happy Hour. My name's Matt,
And my name is Jadrian.
and it is December 12th, 2024 when this is coming out. It's December 5th when we're recording. Semester just about over for you?
We can call it over. I mean, I've got a couple more days left of class, but I have everything planned out. I know what I'm doing each of the last few days. The exams have been written, uh, exam reviews have been prepared. I just got to get through the next 3 days. Everything is ready to be done.
Very cool. Very cool. We'll have a busy stretch here. We have tomorrow's actually one of my favorite days, so by the time people are listening, it will have happened. But the first year students put these 20 to 25-minute presentations on, and we have about
Nice.
60 alumni business professionals who come back, and they're the judges
That's
of the
cool.
presentation. So it's just really a fun day. And I mean, these are students who are 6 months out of high school and
Hmm.
fully business formal outfits, nervous, and they have practiced it so much. They're so nervous, but because they practiced it so much, they all kill it.
Yeah.
They do a great job, and it's so that's always just it's one of my it is actually my favorite day of the academic year. Some people say
Gotcha.
commencement's their favorite day. Mine is this specific day, so I'm looking
Interesting.
forward to that. And then the other thing I'm looking forward to that you know of, but and some of the audience might know, but some might not, is I am going on sabbatical starting on January 1st. So I will we are getting Dr. Emma Fleck, who's
Okay.
she's a superstar. She'll be interim dean for 6 months, and I have time to work on scholarship, to work
Will
on
she be
things.
an interim double dean or just an interim dean?
Just the interim dean. There
Okay.
is another person who's taking on School of the Arts starting
Okay.
on in the 2025. So, but that's been an interesting adventure to
Mhm.
do that. And the not to say that that has driven me to drink, but because we will often have a beverage. I'm
Yeah.
having a Founders Centennial IPA for my beverage tonight.
I am cracking open one that you might have in your fridge. I don't know. This is the same debate we had last time. It is from the Brothers Craft Brewing in Harrisonburg, Virginia, thanks to Lauren. I am having the Kiwi Dragon Fruit Sour. So even though it's very cold outside, I really got to make a dent in this fridge. I have not been consuming the drinks that are in my fridge, so this is a good opportunity. I've been
Yeah.
recording in my office for the past two episodes, so it's nice
Yeah.
to finally get back and have a drink with you.
That's very nice. Looks like the pouring is going on, so I'll wait a while to
Yeah.
lift the glass. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's okay. I'll cheers you this way, and I'll pour this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
No, it's even though it's winter, I'm for whatever reason I'm not in the mood for I don't know not in the mood for a warm beer, right? I guess
Okay.
there's sort of wintry beers. I'm gonna try to be a little festive.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm always in the mood for an IPA, which isn't necessarily a summer drink, but that's the drink I would have in the summer. It is more of a
What
winter drink.
what would an IPA be? Is that a would that be a particular season, or is it really just sort of because I think
Well,
like lagers are like a summer beer, right? Like it's hot, get a light beer.
I actually think an IPA is good for anything but summer, right?
Okay.
Because it's a little bit thicker.
Hmm.
It's, you can't really drink as much. Well, if you want to maintain any semblance of rationality, you should not be drinking that
Right.
many IPAs. And summertime when you're thirsty, I think it's a non-summertime beer. That's it. I still have them in the summer, but I don't know if it has a devoted season like an Oktoberfest or a
Right.
summer shandy or something like that.
Love a summer shame. Man, I can't wait for the summer now. You got me excited for the
All
summer.
this, all the stuff. So, well, it is 13 days before Christmas for those who celebrate when you're listening, and for those who give gifts for any other holiday occasion. We thought it might be a little bit fun to think about gift ideas for the economist or aspiring economist in
Yes.
your life. This was a topic we came up with approximately 3.5 minutes
So
ago.
13 minutes ago, that's
Yeah. So we know we're having some ideas coming in. I suspect we're going to come at this from wildly different angles. And we did make a rule that we wouldn't talk much about books to give. We've had episodes on the books we think you should buy. So it won't be as much about books. But Jadrian, did we want to recap for those who are newer listeners on where they could listen to us talk more about Christmas and the economics of gift giving?
Absolutely. I think if I remember correctly, and it has been many moons, Matt, since we first started this podcast.
It has been.
But I'm pretty sure our very first episode was about the economics of gift giving. Well, actually, I think to be fair, I think our first episode was about why are we doing a podcast?
Okay, podcast.
I
And
think I think
we'll
we
call that though,
introduced
that was
ourselves.
the pilot. That was episode 0.
Right, right. The pilot one. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going back. No, episode one, because we used to number them. Episode one,
Yep.
opportunity cost and starting a podcast. But we talked about gift giving
Okay.
in that episode. Is Christmas gift giving efficient? It has been 2 years since we have started this podcast. First, actually, you're going to appreciate the nostalgia on this. Our first episode came out December 15th,
That is so cool.
2022.
That is
Uh,
very, very cool.
and so we are almost perfectly 2 years around the circle. So yes, if you've been with us from the very beginning, sorry, Matt and I are going to rehash a little bit about what we talked about 2 years ago, but we promise we'll keep it really short because we have really great gifts
Yes.
to talk about. But one of our very first topics was about the economics of gift giving and how several economists believe that it's inefficient. So do you want to how about you share the inefficiency side? Because I
Sure.
know that you don't fully believe that, and I'll share your perspective from that first
Sure.
episode.
So the inefficiency side would say that each consumer has some product that if they had to spend an extra $100, that they would think this is the absolute best use for my $100. But if instead you're receiving gifts worth $100, it's almost certainly not to be exactly what you would buy yourself. Because of that, there is some inefficiency of gift giving. At least that's one way to look at the inefficiency of gift giving.
I use it in my principles class, so I'm teaching behavioral economics tomorrow. So I'll talk about opportunity costs and gift giving. That's actually my lesson tomorrow in class.
Yeah.
But the fun part, the way that I always sort of present it is, they look a little confused when I bring it up at first, and I go, "Have you ever gotten a gift from your grandmother that you didn't really like?" And immediately they go, "Yep." And I go, "Wouldn't it have been nice if she would have just given you $50 instead?" And they go, "Oh yeah, I could have gotten whatever I want." And I go, "There you go. That's
Yep.
that's the summary." I go, maybe worse, right? If you get a $50 gift card to a store that you don't use, that would probably then maybe that's the worst one. But there are sites, I guess you could trade that back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was our very first episode. We talked about opportunity
Very cool.
cost of why Matt and I started a podcast, and then
And
opportunity
that
cost of Christmas.
and then what is the argument for why, okay, maybe it is actually efficient, why gift giving isn't as bad as the initial economists say.
So, one of the assumptions under that model is that the recipient knows the value of what they would get out of the item, or knows what they would be willing to spend on it. And in some senses, it sort of ignores the happiness feeling that goes around the idea that like you get to use this gift over and over. Matt, if I remember correctly, you have been given a gift, one of your favorite. I want to say it was a wedding gift, but if it's not a wedding gift, I'm sorry. Of a something for your table that you
Yep.
put stuff in. I don't know what these are
Yep.
called, right?
It's a big metal fish. At some point,
Metal
I'll have to
fish.
bring
Okay.
it down.
Yeah.
I would have
Um,
never thought that that would be a gift that will literally be with us until we die because the
Right. And
thing
so,
is
and you don't realize
indestructible.
it when you're receiving it, and you
Yep.
don't know how happy some of these things can actually make you. And so if you're not fully informed, how can you say that it's inefficient? This metal fish has given Matt so much more happiness than however much it cost that person if they had just given Matt that money
Yeah,
instead.
and if we had bought it ourselves, it wouldn't have
It
had
wouldn't
the
have it
same
wouldn't have
impact.
meant
We
as
wouldn't think,
much.
oh, this was the gift from the people who literally, the doctor who literally delivered Amanda, my wife,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so there's that. And you brought up a point I hadn't thought about when we talked 2 years ago, which was that there is also utility for the gift giver.
Yes.
The gift giver can sometimes really enjoy the fact that they figured out a gift that they think this person might really like,
Mhm.
and there's some extra satisfaction
From
from
us.
that.
And when we talk about efficiency, it's supposed to be a social calculation, not an
Yep.
individual. I actually had a conversation with somebody from the local news about this, about like shopping local. What does that mean? Gift giving
Sure.
guides, things like that. And actually, it reminded me of our conversation because one of the things that I had talked about was one of the best things that you can get people are these sort of local gifts that you can't get somewhere else. And so I give an example of things like buying coffee from a local coffee roaster. If you have friends that live across the country, that's a gift that they can literally never purchase, probably if that place doesn't sell online or anything like that. And so, sort of the joy of being able to share something from your home that other people can't get. And I think, especially for us, we live far enough away from our family that sometimes the best sort of gifts to give are the things that are local that we know. Yes, sure,
Yeah.
they could get coffee at their hometown, but they're going to be the only ones of their neighborhood friends that has a special bag of Roanoke coffee.
Yeah. Yep. I brought Roanoke bourbon home, or maybe not Roanoke, but bought bourbon when we were at Jet Set
Oh,
to
great.
bring home
It's fun.
as yeah.
I do enjoy gift giving. If I can find like a really special gift that is sort of
Yeah.
unique, even if it's cheap, like you can get really fun little cheap gifts that I think go a lot further than if I just gave somebody $10 and said, "Here's your." Actually, if I
Right.
gave them cash, they'd probably get mad at me. They go, "How dare you give me $10 of cash?" But if I go
But
back buy a bag of local coffee, they're gonna be like, "This is amazing."
yeah, yeah. If somebody brought two IPAs I haven't tried, which probably cost less than $10, even if you buy them individually, I'll be like, that is so thoughtful. Yeah, the $10, I'll be like, hey, I'll take the $10, but
Yes.
I'll be much more excited to see the local beer. Yeah. So, so, so that's a 3 minute, 4 minute recap of our first episode. Check it out if you're new. We I haven't actually listened to it in probably about the 2 years. So who knows? You could listen to it and tell us whether we have gotten better or worse over time. But
I think we've gotten better.
I think we've gotten better. Today, we are thinking about the gift for the economist in your life. And
Or
so,
aspiring
or
economist.
aspiring economist. So why don't I let you give one idea?
Sure.
I have a couple things in mind that are maybe kind of similar, but maybe when you
Yeah.
give the first one, I'll have some other brilliant idea that comes
Well,
up.
let me start with the economist in your life, and then we'll go back to the aspiring economist. And I'm gonna recommend this. I'm gonna start with a book, even though we said we weren't gonna do very many
Uh-oh.
books. I'm gonna start with the book only because I haven't read this book, and so I'm going to read this book over the break. It's not a new book, like at all, but like I've only heard really good reviews from other economists, so I feel like it's an opportunity to share this. It is Triumph of the City by Ed Glazier. It came out in
Hmm.
2012. The
Okay.
reason I'm going to recommend a book that is 13 years old, I'm teaching urban economics in the spring for the first time. And this book is about how our greatest inventions make us richer, smarter, greener, healthier, and happier. Sort of like what is the value of a city? I've heard that it is an amazing. I've heard from other urban economists, other economists, that it is an amazing book. It's really kind of cool to think about, how did cities develop? Like, how are we fostering cities? Things like that. So
Yep.
even though it's not new, I'm going to recommend it because other
Okay.
economists have recommended it, and I'm an economist, and I'm going to read it. And so, if you're an economist or want to be an economist, you read it, and we can sort of read a book together over the break, and then hopefully we'll come back in January, and I'll let you know how I like the book.
Yeah, I might add that to my Audible listen list that to to we can discuss together. Before we came on, I had told Jadrian that I listened to the book recommendation he gave on ice, and uh, there are some parts that I had
Didn't
some
love it as much as
quibbles
me.
with. But I thought it was definitely a good read, and I have no shame in stopping a book early if I don't think I'm getting value from it, and I pretty much got through the
I
whole
think
thing.
I know where you stopped because that's about where I stopped. The last chapter is good. The second to last chapter is the weird one.
That could be. So I will I'll go in a different way, but when you mentioned this, the first thing that came to mind was what are the things that I have asked for and or I own?
Okay.
And so I'm going to share the screen so that Jadrian can get the reaction of what I'm going to
I'm scared. I'm a little
what
scared.
what I'm putting on here right
Okay.
away. So it's the shirt, and we will put a link to this in the description. But I own a
Okay.
Milton Friedman is my homeboy t-shirt. for all of our free market loving economist friends who might like Milton Friedman. And it's interesting when you wear that out and people aren't quite sure of who Milton Friedman is. One person asked, "Is that Bernie Sanders?" And I was like, "No, no, it's quite a bit different than Bernie Sanders." But it was a conversation starter. So this would be for the economist who is maybe a little bit more developed. I don't know how many economists have T-shirts based after them. I do know some others, but the Milton Friedman is my homeboy. To be honest, the shirt I have is now so old and worn out. I may put another one on my wish list for this year. So I, there's not that much on my wish list, and family is always looking for things. So.
Well, I'm gonna have to narrow this down. So, Matt, I'll share my screen.
Okay, let me stop sharing for you.
I'm gonna try to share this in a way that I don't give away the other ideas. This is gonna be very specific. Instead of just the economists in your life, maybe this is the economics teachers in your life. Because I own the shirt that I'm about to share with you that I'm gonna wear on my very final day. It is an ugly Christmas sweater T-shirt that says "I love to teach economics." I own the blue one, but it is a ton of fun to wear on my last day of class because students can immediately see it's a Christmas sweater, but they don't fully read what it says at first,
Yep,
and then
yep.
you can see them process during class where they're like, "Is he wearing an economics teaching T-shirt?"
I like it.
Very fun shirt to wear.
How was that really just $27 on Amazon? I
No, that was the reflective vest. Hold on, sorry.
okay.
It was $27. Yeah.
Seriously, how
It's really nice. I like
I'm
it.
a
I mean,
little
it's
bit
very comfy.
stunned that there's enough demand for that sweater that they could produce it in bulk enough and to be able to charge $27 and it's
No.
profitable for them to sell.
So, well, this is a good chance that I can bring this up. Oh, I might actually get this. Oh, there's some better shirts in here. I have not looked at this in a while. Now I got distracted. Matt, you shouldn't have brought me up on this. I could get this shirt to wear. Wonder if I could get this
Due,
delivered by Monday.
due to inflation, this is
This
my
is
ugly Christmas sweater, is what the screen says right now. That is fantastic.
So no,
Uh,
Matt, I learned this. I assume shirts are the same way. I learned this with my book publishing. My guess is these shirts they're not pre-made. I think they're print on
okay.
demand type shirts that they are just processing them as they come through because that's how a lot of books on Amazon are sold. The really popular ones they do pre-print, but a lot of the other ones they just print them as they're being ordered. Um, so. My guess is that there's no way they have enough. Exactly what you said. There's no way they're actually storing that many colors and varieties of shirts.
Yeah. There are when you think about there are what 330 million Americans, I'm just thinking
Hmm.
about the American economy for presence at the moment. And then you round down to what number of people teach economics. It is you have really limited your market pretty dramatically. So, but what you say makes more sense that they have a print they can put on there.
So we could say that that was a gift for the economics teachers in your life. So
Yeah.
we have different categories that we're gonna have to sell
How
divide
many
our show notes
economics
for this.
shirts do you have? Like
So like actually about economics or ones that I like wear for economic concepts.
I would probably, it's up, I guess you could go either way on that. I'm thinking through, I have several, but I could go through mine while you think. I'm trying to think through. I think I have an Adam Smith one. I have one that says, and a lot of these have been gifts. Like I tell you an economics joke, but there isn't enough demand on one shirt, which, if you have somebody who likes economics, that's kind of a clever and funny shirt. I have a Thomas Sowell shirt. I have an I Heart Capitalism shirt that I've done the video with that I
Mhm.
learned from Dirk Mateer on the Lil Wayne Jay Sean. Is that his name? Jay Sean
Yeah.
Lil Wayne song where Lil Wayne has the communism shirt. And so I don't know if you'd quite call that an economic shirt, but I would say I probably have about, depending how you define them, 4 to 6 different econ t-shirts.
So I have two for sure. I guess I have three. I have one that says "Eat, Sleep, Economics, Repeat." I have that one. I have one that my teaching econ shirt. But then I have my Deluxe Hugs $2 shirt, which I use when I'm
You
teaching
sure?
my product. So like I only wear that when I'm teaching economics. So like otherwise, like in my mind, that's an economic shirt.
Yep, yep.
But I also have one that is a it's a pitcher of beer and a hot dog holding hands together, celebrating like
Compliments.
yes. I only wear it when I teach compliments. So like I
Yeah.
have shirts that I only wear during certain times of teaching.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
very interesting.
So to me, those are econ shirts.
So the next thing I'll mention here is a gift that you can't actually buy, but you could have made. And the reason I'm saying this is I've gotten heat recently from people in my family,
Okay.
immediate and slightly outside, like saying, you need to put Christmas presents on your Amazon wish list. And I'm like, I'm in a, I don't know. I'm material things, like what is it between 10 and 50 to $100 that I don't have that
Mhm.
often I'll buy them, and then for the most part I'm pretty frugal and I don't need things, but for under $100 you can have a bobblehead made. And
Ooh.
so coming into my life, I can't even remember whether I said it was to be Milton Friedman or Thomas Sowell, but I did share this, and apparently it was either my parents or my wife's parents got excited. So um, I don't know if this will be a present under my tree, but if this happens, the bobblehead will make an appearance on the video version of the podcast for everybody to see. But so
Interesting.
that's going a little bit further, but you could, with a picture, if you are just, if you were a huge fan of your new book you're about to read, you could have an Ed Glazier bobblehead made. And part of me thinks, how hilarious would it be to go to the AEA meetings or even to go to Jet Set? Let's go to Jet Set and we'll have a bobblehead of Dirk Mateer when Dirk shows up. And we'll just have it there and we won't tell anybody. And they'll be presenting and there will be the bobblehead. And they'll be like,
That could be the award. We'll start giving out awards that are just bobbleheads.
yeah. So,
That's a
for
cool.
under $100 to make a personalized bobblehead, I'm like, that's pretty awesome. To the point where now I want to kind of do it to mess with friends, like come to trivia night and I just have a bobblehead of one of my friends there. So that who knows? That might end up happening.
Like trying to Google to see if anybody's ever made these already. There are some Adam Smith bobbleheads, but they're not very good. They don't look good. I like that. That's a neat idea. I was definitely not going that direction at all with with these
Yeah,
gifts. Um, okay, so I'll go. This is I presented this topic to Matt in the sense that what are gift ideas that are related to economics, and then we sort of stumbled into the gifts for economists. So this is an item that I talk about. And the reason I brought it up is because I'm teaching behavioral economics tomorrow. So I think it's a good opportunity to talk about behavioral economics again. So one of the things that we do in the behavioral one, we go through sort of the common problems that people have and why they don't make the best decisions. And one of them is time inconsistency. You know, future me is different
sure.
than current me and
Yep.
stuff like that. And so I always ask them if they have trouble waking up in the morning and that they set alarms but they don't really get up for the alarms. And so every time I have a video of it now, but I always have this video of one of my students who just has like 60 alarms on their phone for like every single minute. And I'm like, do you think that this is a rational thing to do? It would be way easier just to wake up at a certain time. Like this is not the
Yeah.
sort of behavior. And so I talk about it in the sense that like setting multiple alarms is a commitment device to make sure that you actually get up and stuff like that. So I talked to them about it in the course is if you can identify behavioral economics problems that people have, that you can make a ton of money. And I will share with you one of those ideas, not that a student came up with, but that I used to have, absolutely annoyed my roommate so much. So I'll share my screen so Matt can see it, and I'll talk about what the item is.
I am
Matt, do you
excited.
have problems waking up in the morning, like with
Not
alarm?
anymore, but when I was in college, I there were times
Yeah.
clocky extra.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah,
So I
that's
love
funny.
Clocky. So I show them Clocky as an alternative to setting a bunch of alarms. So I say if you have a hard time getting up, part of the problem is your bed's too comfy. So the Clocky, and so if there's any parents out there listening and your child has trouble getting up, Clocky is a really great thing to get them. What it is it's an alarm clock that's on wheels. And so when the time goes off, what it does is it rolls off the desk and then rolls around on the floor until you get up out of bed to turn it off. And so it is a commitment device that makes you wake up, get up out of bed, and turn it off. And then the hope is that once you're out of bed, you're actually up and
Yeah,
moving and stuff like that. But they have all sorts of really, I think we talked about, actually, you know what? This is going to flash us back 2 years ago. I think our second episode was about commitment devices.
yeah, because
So
we
maybe
talked
we talked
about like
about,
New Year's,
we
and
probably talked about Clocky in the second
I
episode.
don't think so. I never remember seeing clocky.
Okay.
If you did, I know you didn't share the screen to show me.
Okay.
That's the
Well,
first time I ever saw clocky.
Clocky's one of my favorite examples, and I
Yeah.
go, but then I also tell them, I go, many of you have roommates, and so you might want to check this with your roommate before you do this.
Yeah. I recall roommate conflicts in college. I don't think I was part of it, but they would
That
say they
means you
would
were causing it, is the problem.
no, no, but like somebody would set their alarm and they put it on the opposite side of their room,
Yep.
and then they still wouldn't get out of bed for 15 minutes, which of course made the other roommate really happy. Or they would do that and the other roommate would get up and turn it off, and then the person would sleep right through their classes because they didn't get up after the alarm going off for a few minutes. No, it's one of those. Now the alarm goes off and I'll get up and might be tired, but you just get up.
Just roll out of bed and
It's what you do. Um, so no, that's interesting. I actually don't know that I have other interesting gift
well,
ideas.
I do have one more.
Okay,
It's
I
very
would like
similar.
to hear. I'd
So
like to hear one
this is
more.
a gift. This is we'll say this is a gift from an economist instead of for an economist. I've recommended this actually to some of my colleagues and people I work with in the department, and they have bought it. They bought it for themselves. They bought it for their kids. It's also a really I have one myself. I don't think I have one. I have a different version of it in my office. I can show you too. It is a hexagonal or a hexagon rotating productivity timer. It is a really great gift if you are somebody who gets easily distracted. So I use it, I teach it to my principal students in this sense of like this idea of diminishing returns and productivity and stuff like that. So let me share my screen again for Matt. Um, of just that it's really easy to sit down and try to study, and what ends up happening is we get tired and bored, and so I tell them like the worst thing they could do is try to study for 2 straight hours. Like you're not going to be as productive in the last 30 minutes as you are in the first 30 minutes. So the hexagon clock, what it is it's a timer and a clock in one. So each of the sides of the hexagon is actually a timer. So when you flip it
Okay.
on its side, it's a 5 minute timer, then a 15-minute timer, a 30 minute.
Ah, yeah.
It's a really neat clock. And so I talked to them about it's called the Pomodoro technique. Instead of working for 2 hours straight, you should work for 30 minutes, take a 5 minute break, work for 30 minutes, take a 5 minute break, work for 30 minutes, and kind of repeat itself. And then the idea is you're much more productive because by the time, especially for college students, they sort of get tired after 15 or 20 minutes. And they really, I was some, you really want to check your phone. And I go, but just wait the extra 5 minutes. You can usually do that and then check it all in the 5 minutes. But
Interesting.
it's a really great, it helps me productivity wise a lot. I have the hexagon in my office. In my home office, I have a small clock that rotates, and so I can set a little timer
Okay.
and not get my light in there. So I can set a little timer.
Yeah, so you'll do some work for a while, and you will not check what
Yeah.
emails or texts or anything for
Nope.
a
So
certain amount of
I
time.
close my email. So I usually do 25 minutes because
Okay.
right it makes it's a little easier to watch the time too for work 25 minutes, take 5 minutes off, 25, 5.
Sure,
That way
sure.
it adds up to 30. But the idea is you do that, and then after like I think if you do 4 cycles, then you're supposed to take like a longer 20-minute break, reset, walk around,
Okay.
things like that.
While you said
Really
this,
great.
there's another gift that wasn't really for me. It was a gift I gave, but it was
Mhm.
kind of a gift for me. So I gave, it's not this exact shirt. We're back to shirts again, but it was the shirt that I gave actually I think was better than what I'm about to show. But the maybe I'll have to try to find the photo of when I gave this shirt to my wife. But for those who are listening, it's a shirt that says this girl loves her economist. The one that I have has it actually has like money bags on them. It's stuff. It's just fantastic. It's so
Poor
horrendously
Amanda.
tacky.
Poor Amanda.
I think she uses it as a workout shirt. She does not wear it in public. But it's one of those when you give several gifts on like for Christmas or for Mother's Day or something. This was one that like I threw this one in as one of them, and everybody, including her, thought it was pretty funny. But the if you have a significant other, I think they have a this guy hearts his economist shirt too. So for that special somebody in your life, you could get them laughing if they're opening a number of things. Sometimes things like that can be funny. One time we had this is not related to economics, but Buffalo Wild Wings was giving these deals where if you buy $75 in gift cards, they'd give you a bucket that a little tin bucket that you could put ice and beer in, but then it had a couple glasses, and then it had like $40 in bonus gift cards and a t-shirt. And me being an economist, you had me at extra gift cards. So I brought two of those things home, and my wife was, she was like, we do not need more of these. And I was like, okay, but for whatever reason, the day before Christmas, I was at B Dubs and I'm like, I gotta get one more. So I got it, and then I wrapped it up and put my name on it. So for Christmas, I opened the gift up, and it's like, oh, this was so thoughtful to have another one. And everybody thought it was funny, except perhaps my wife, who, you know, was
I, I'm gonna
saying,
tell
"What are we
you.
doing with this?"
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the story, and you're gonna go, "My God, you're an economist." Of course you are. Like it's the most economist thing possible.
Yeah.
So when I worked at Penn State, the building that I was in on the bottom floor had an Au Bon Pawn, and eventually it changed into a Panera.
Okay. Yep.
But the Buffalo Wild Wings story just reminded me of this. Because it's a corporate store, they run all the same corporate sponsorships that anybody else does. So imagine working in an office building where two floors below you is a coffee shop, basically. They ran a Christmas special every year that was buy $25 in gift cards, get a $5 gift card to go along with it. And I'm sitting there going, I work in this building. I spend money at this coffee
Yep.
shop. Like
Yeah.
I spent a lot. Like in hindsight, I really should go back and look. I wish I could see like how much I spent at this place. And I remember going down there and like asking, I was like, I need to talk to the manager. I was like, nothing's wrong. I go, I have questions. And I go, is this a $5 like real gift card? Is this a $5 coupon? They changed it eventually to a $5 coupon that expires like within 30 days. But
Mhm.
like the first time they were running it, it was like a true $5 gift card that you got.
Yeah.
I
No
sat here and I
expiration.
go, do I have to buy $25 individually? I go, if I get like $100, do I only get $5 or do I get $25? And at first they go, no, like you would only get five. And they were like, if you bought $100 of gift card, if you bought $100 gift card, you'd still only get $5. And I
Okay.
go,
Yeah.
but if I bought four $25 gift cards, you'd give me four $5 gift cards. And they go, yeah, that's right. I go, sweet. I'd like $400 worth of gift cards, and I would like them in
Easy.
$25 increments.
That is
And
fantastic.
the
Yeah.
the cashier was just like, like you could see the confusion on their face. And I'm just sitting there going, I work in this building. Over the course of the year, I will spend that much money
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
coffee. Like they're $5 coffees. I was getting teas and coffees and muffins and cookies like every afternoon. And I go, I might as well get a chunk of this for free. Um,
I
they were
agree.
very
I agree.
kind. The manager had to sign off on it. They did not generate $25 gift cards for me. They did put all of it on one gift card. And then
Oh, so you got one bonus gift card for all of the
no,
money.
so they gave me a single gift card with
Oh, okay.
$400, and then they gave me all the little $5. They were basically like
Afterward.
little
Okay.
$5 gift cards.
Perfect.
Yeah, I told him I was like, you can give it to me however you want. You can give me eight $25
Yep.
gift cards. That's fine.
Yep. No, that's awesome. I've Marzoni's does a similar scheme and they yeah, it may be a little bit embarrassing, but that's
I'm always like I'm just surprised more. I understand why most people don't do it. There's not a lot of restaurants that I go to regularly,
sure.
but there are some places I go all the time that I'm going. Like you and Marzoni's, right? Like any listener to
Yep,
this
yep.
knows that Matt spends too much money at Marzoni's. Um, it just makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I
especially if
agree.
it's a chain, right? Like, if it's a chain that you know is not going to go under, why
Yep,
not?
yep, yep, yep. Get the free money. Get the free money. I mean, what are the risks? The risk you can't lose the gift card. If you're liable to lose or
I
misplace
was,
the gift card, you shouldn't do it.
I was so scared I was going to lose that gift card. It
Yeah.
stayed at my desk, and I was very careful. Like, I would hold on to it the whole time. Like, I wouldn't put it in my pocket or anything because I was so scared that I was going to like drop it out of my pocket or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've gotten to the point of pop culture references.
Yeah.
Anything to share with?
I mean, I can give you the pop culture reference I gave 2 years ago, only because I happened to see it while I was looking at the thing. Let me let you go first,
Sure.
and
And
I'll see if I can find a
mine is
new
a
one.
little different than what I normally do. I'm going to give a book. And it is because we said we wouldn't give books for the earlier part. And it's just a book that I finished. It's been out about a year, so perhaps some of you might have read it, but I read it and I enjoyed it. It's Going Infinite by Michael Lewis, and we've talked about
Yes, I
Michael
read
Lewis
that.
before, but it
Yeah.
is his biography of Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF.
Mhm.
And it is fascinating because he started it and started getting access to him before all of the stuff happened. And then all of the stuff happened with him getting arrested um and there is even an addendum that he released about a year after the book was published that you get automatically with at
Hmm.
least with the audiobook. I assume with
Interesting.
if you buy an ebook, you get that as well. The the biggest criticism I've heard is that he is maybe too sympathetic to SBF. I think I think that's actually a fair criticism if you wanted to take it that way. But overall, I thought it was an incredibly educational book that was also entertaining in the way Michael Lewis generally writes books that are very entertaining to read.
I agree.
So if you are looking for a book different than Jadrian's recommendation earlier, uh, Going Infinite by Michael Lewis. It helped me understand what in the world these companies were because I honestly
Yeah.
didn't really know what Alameda Research was or like these very in the other company that he owned. I didn't really know that much about them. It was a crypto exchange and a different research company and what was it that he did that got him in jail for a long time?
I mean,
It's a pretty
I still don't know. Like,
it really helps you figure it out. So
yeah.
I thought that was interesting, and I think it's somewhat relevant to the current times in the sense that the past month has seen an enormous boom in crypto prices. For those, I don't know how many of our listeners have significant portfolios of cryptocurrencies, but if so,
I hope the answer's low. Like,
well, hopefully, if you've had it for the past
if it's a
month,
portfolio, if your retirement is a fund of crypto, I hope it's low. I hope it's not a portfolio of it.
well, if you have a portfolio of it, I mean,
Get
with
out
this, we are
now.
not registered financial advisors. I
Thank
would
you.
recommend diversifying um, at this point. And if you were, congrats though, because you have done well in the
Well,
past.
hey, it's not money until you take it out. So,
That's why I said now's the time to diversify. But I have a small amount of crypto that largely came about because I would place an occasional wager on an offshore sports book. But the so anyways, Going Infinite, Michael Lewis might be worth a listen or a read depending on your delivery mode
that's a good
for
choice.
books.
I like that. I read that I read that when it came out. It was really good. I'm gonna go with a true pop culture clip. I'm gonna circle
Awesome.
us back to the inefficiencies of gift giving. However, I'm going to introduce some inefficiencies that we had not considered, as I'll say leaning more towards the inefficiency side. It is a scene from Superstore because I'm just wrapping up a paper on Superstore,
Very
a
cool.
very old paper that it's finally getting published. A scene from Superstore where one of the employees, he works at like a Walmart knockoff. He is in charge of gift wrapping at the store. The store is offering free gift wrapping. He is not very good at it whatsoever. And then some of the other coworkers are coming up to him and saying, "Why are you doing such a bad job wrapping these gifts? You're not doing a good job." He goes, "What does it matter? They're just going to open it and see the gift anyway. Why does it matter if it's wrapped nicely? This is all a waste of time." And so it's just complaining about the wasted time of wrapping gifts that people are just going to destroy. And what does it matter if they see what the gift is beforehand or not? So I'll throw that on there. We did not consider the costs associated with wrapping a gift and how that might be inefficient as well.
That's true. Or it might be efficient. I know
If you
some
like it,
people
if you
get
like wrapping
so
gifts,
excited about wrapping presents. If
I
anybody's received a wrap present from me, you know that's not
I
me.
like wrapping gifts because I it's peaceful. So I really like sort of
Okay.
there's a pattern to it, right? Like it's not mentally taxing. It's just sort of it's a nice break from work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice. So, well, any,
Matt, this was
yep.
delicious. So
Awesome.
shout out to the Brothers Craft Brewing Company in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Thank you, Lauren Shiflett. Delicious kiwi dragon fruit sour.
Yeah, and thank you for the gift beers. If For those who want to thank us at all, of course, a 5-star review and positive comments on your favorite podcast provider are huge. It helps the algorithms get this into the ears of more people, which we'd really appreciate. Gift beer is always okay as well. So we will not turn down
We like
gift.
beers and 5-star reviews.
That's We're very simple people. We're very simple people. The Centennial IPA was delicious as well. Uh, Thank you to everybody for listening. We do really appreciate you. And this end of 2 years. The bad part about us not having the numbers is we probably crossed the 50 mark without us even knowing yet. But we would not have gotten here if it weren't for all of the positive feedback we've received from so many of you. So we do appreciate that. Well, Jadrian, until next time,
Cheers, Matt.
cheers.
Clink.
Clink.
Clink.